My name's Mikala Meidl, and I'm based in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I work at Ambient Inks, and I am the CEO there. So I screen printed in college and was a graphic design major and had heard about Ambient Inks through some friends and some of the people that worked there. I got connected with them and started literally at the ground floor. I was washing screens, I was cleaning squeegees, I was folding t-shirts, and that was 11 years ago. And then through my time at the company, I slowly moved into production management. I moved into managing our web store and fulfillment, into account management, and working with our artists, and then eventually had done everything in the company and moved into operations and am now in my role as CEO. I went for graphic design at University of Wisconsin Stout, and they had kind of a DIY screen printing studio there, so I was taking classes in it. But then also I had a setup in the house I was living at, washing screens out literally in the shower, and just like a super bare bones setup to print like random homecoming shirts or stuff that came across. I think our mission at Ambient Inks has continued to evolve and change, but one of the terms that we coined a few years back was this idea of good attracts good, and I think that's really been resonating a lot with me and with the company recently. It's this idea that if we're doing good things as a company, whether that's through sustainability or conscious business practice or philanthropy and volunteer work, that will attract similar clients and people with similar mindsets. And this idea that if we're all doing good, we're all supporting one another, that we're contributing to the bigger picture and contributing to just the world being a better place. What makes Ambient different from a sustainability front? I think the reality is that anyone can source sustainable blanks, but I think what Ambient does really differently is we are really big on the education side. So we work with our artists for them to really understand what each blank is, what each apparel vendor offers, and then they can kind of choose what's the best direction for them to go. I think another part that sets us apart in sustainability is that we do both our production and our fulfillment in-house. So we have a lot of control over the process where a lot of other larger merch companies don't have that ability. So we can choose to use sustainable packaging in our fulfillment. We have a paperless production facility. We have different equipment that's sustainable, whether that's using an auto reclaim machine so that we're washing screens more efficiently with less water, or we use no plastic in our screen making process. So that was a huge evolution for us. And then we're just constantly looking at ways that we can innovate. So it goes beyond just what our clients can do, but also what we're doing internally. Bon Iver I Come I merch line was a huge step for Ambient and for Bon both. We've been really fortunate to work with Bon Iver for over a decade now, and we both really challenge each other. We've both inspired each other to do different things over the years, and I think sustainability was on the forefront of both of our minds at that time. And so when Bon approached us and said, hey, we want to do 100% sustainable line, it was a really unique opportunity, but at the time it also came with a lot of challenges. The reality was there weren't a lot of apparel vendors that were doing sustainable garments. There weren't as many companies focusing on that, and they wanted to go as deep as the poster paper we were printing on, making sure it's 100% cotton and archival, and our patch manufacturing being done in the US, and pins. And so it was, a really exciting opportunity for that. But I think what Bon's also just done a really great job at, and Justin Vernon, is recognizing that as musicians, they have this amazing platform that beyond their music, they have an opportunity to tell a story and to speak about their values. And this was an opportunity to talk about how detrimental the textile industry traditionally has been, and to kind of challenge that narrative and explain to fans that there is another option. The reality is that a fan's going to buy a shirt no matter what at a show. They want that tangible item. They want that thing to bring home. And so if we can flip the narrative and kind of push them in a direction that's a more sustainable blank, a more ethical blank, it's just that education for the fan too. And I think there's also like this idea that sustainability is just garments and like that is the sustainability element. But there's also something that we really focus on is having high quality prints, high quality designs, because ultimately if someone's holding onto that shirt for 30 years, that's more sustainable than the shirt that they wore one time and are going to donate. What really drew us to Lane 7 was your guys' impact in sustainability and that just being a really important element for everything we do at Ambient and with our artists. But I think one of the other big things is that Lane 7's always been ahead of the trends and is offering styles that artists really want. That's one of the things we've ran into in the past, specifically with musicians, is when we first started sourcing sustainable garments, there weren't many options. And so you had to go with just a basic cut shirt and it had to be black. And now, especially with apparel vendors like Lane 7, we're able to get the boxy shirts like the Urban Heavyweight, and we can get the pigment dyed and the styles that are like really trending right now. And it's a way for, again, elevate the fan experience, elevate what they want to wear and what they're going to continue to wear day after day. I think one of the things we talk a lot about, and maybe it's not brands as much as it's our clients and our artists, is that people have this misconception that if you have to choose either sustainability or profit. And I think that narrative has changed a lot too. There's a lot of blanks that are out there that are a lot more affordable. And so people can choose to still make profits, to still have a good markup on their shirts, but then be able to use a sustainable blank. And I think what we're seeing too from the merch booth side is it's just continuing to raise like the cost of shirts at the merch booth. And so the reality is by an artist maybe charging $5 more for their shirt, that's the difference of them having a sustainable blank or not. And so I think there is like a lower entry point than people necessarily think. And then I think the other part that like we've really focused on too is just this idea of progress over perfection. I think people also have the misconception that, and that's with the brand side too, is if we're not perfect, if we're not doing everything perfect, we're not sustainable. Or if I'm doing one shirt sustainably, that's not good enough. I need a full line like Bon Iver does. And the reality is that's not attainable for everyone. And so that's something that we've really like shifted to focusing on and celebrating, is that a small band doing one fully like organic cotton shirt is something to be celebrated, even if their full line's not that. I think one of the beliefs that I had to unlearn, especially in a leadership role, is that I had to be the person to do it all. The reality of small business too, when I started at Ambient, there were 6 employees, is we had to wear a lot of hats. And I think as you grow as a leader, you need to learn to delegate and to just trust your team. I think there's this idea that, okay, if I do it, it's going to be done right and it's going to be done in the way I would expect, or that you're somehow lessening the burden of your team by taking everything on. And in reality, by giving people that trust, you're giving them the opportunity to succeed, but also to fail. And then that autonomy and that pride also comes with it. So you build a better team overall and save yourself a lot of pain and heartache and long hours. Something that's surprising about my journey with Ambient is I think the transition of my role into CEO. I started this role, or was offered the promotion, when I was 5 months pregnant. So I got my feet wet in the role, started it, and then immediately went on maternity leave and came back into this role with a newborn in the height of touring season and had to take it all on. It's a really important part of my journey, and it's a really important part of my story with Ambient. Is I think women are so underrepresented, not only in leadership, but in the music industry, in screen printing. And so being a mother and a CEO is incredibly important to me. And it's proving that it's possible to do that, even though maybe some days it doesn't feel possible. But the reality is that I keep showing up day after day as a leader here, but also a leader at home. I don't think I would have imagined I would be as intertwined with the music industry as I am. I don't come from a music background. I started at Ambient because I love screen printing, and I think the music industry is just a magical place, but it's also insane and crazy, and the deadlines are wild. The people are super exciting, but also it's very intense, and it's just a really special community to be a part of, and now I can't imagine not being a part of it. I've been super privileged to be able to see our artists perform in amazing venues around the country and had the opportunity to see the fans really resonate with our merch. I cry at every single show I go to because it feels so special to get to be a part of the artist's journey in that way, and to get to be a part of what they're creating, and to see someone actually take a t-shirt away at the end of the night. I lose it every single time. I can't imagine that not being a part of what I do. What I hope comes for Ambient Inks next is just continuing to find artists and brands and organizations that align with our vision. We want to just keep continuing to work with people that are focused on sustainability, who are focused on using ethical brands, and ultimately just trying to make a difference in the world. If people want to know more about Ambient, the best place to start is our website. We've got a ton of information there, but we've also got a great social media manager, and we're super active on Instagram. And then if you want to print with us and want to inquire about a job, printing at ambientinks.com is the best place.